Welcome back, guys. It is home makeover time. In today's video, we're going to be walking through how we gave our bathroom a makeover. So let's go ahead and get started. So if you have not watched any of the videos of our home makeover so far, I will give you the rundown of in our entire house. We had all of the popcorn ceilings scraped, and then we scraped them. We had someone come in and do the patchwork and skimming. So especially on the bathrooms, we had them do a skim coat on the entire thing just to make sure it was good to go. Then we sanded it down ourselves and primed it and painted it. So we got that taken care of, and that was first things first. And then with the fan that was already in the bathroom, it was like that manila color. We took that outside and we spray painted that just with some white spray paint. We did use the 2X Rustoleum for that. That's my favorite because it's a primer and a paint all in one. And that is it for the ceiling. Just thought I'd go ahead and get that out of there because taking the popcorn ceilings out of our house was a big undertaking, and we're very happy to be starting with a clean slate. So from there, it is time to pull out the paint. This bathroom is it just needs some love. Everything's good and good functioning. It needs love. So I'm gonna start by removing all of the hardware off of the walls and painting up the trim. So I'm just gonna take all of the towels and racks and all of that stuff that they have down off of the walls. As you can see here, like the hand towel rack, it was so close to the countertop that like when you put a towel on it, it literally just laid on the counter. I don't know why or what the purpose of that was, but it has to go. So we're gonna take all of that down, patch all of the holes, and let that dry. And while that's drying, I'm going to start just giving a light sanding to all of the trim that needs to be painted. Some of it in this bathroom is white, some of it is brown. I don't know what's going on, but we're gonna fix it. So I'm just gonna do a light sanding over all of the parts that are brown and need to be painted. I am gonna touch the white too to make sure it's all the same color, but that white doesn't really have a sheen on it that I need to break through, so the paint that I'm using should stick, which it's a bare interior trim. This is what I've been using for all of the trim throughout the house. So once that was done, before I started painting, I finished letting those holes dry, sanded down the walls, that way when it falls, it's not falling onto my baseboards that I'm about to freshly paint. Wipe it and clean it all up, get the vacuum out, and we are finally ready. So I'm again going to take that paint that I showed you here, and I'm going to paint. Now for our dark trim in this house, again, some of it was already white, some of it was not, so we're just trying to make everything mesh. It took a coat of primer, which I'm doing primer just to save some of the nice paint. So I would do, it also helps adhere a little better. So I do a round of primer, which is the, I think we're using the 123 brand. I don't remember which, like there's different ones. Off the top of my head, I don't recall exactly which one it was, but just any primer, slap it on there. And then after that, 3 coats of the trim paint. It's so frustrating. I don't know about you guys. I don't love painting trim. It's not fun. So got that taken care of finally, and we were able to move forward with the fun part because I feel like putting new fresh paint on the wall is what really gives it that transformation. So from there, we're going to start painting. Now, I'm using a Sherwin Williams, the Duration, I think is what it's called, Duration in a satin finish. And don't make fun of me because I'm going to try to pronounce this. I don't know. Beguiling Mauve? Beguiling, I think is how you say it. Don't make fun of me. I'm sorry. I'm going to put it on the screen for you. Again, make fun of me or don't. I don't really care. But it's a beautiful mauve. It's like a purpley-ish, got like kind of like gray undertones to it. And I just wanted to bring a pop of color into this area. This is going to be my daughter's bathroom. So I just wanted to make it nice and fun for her, but also still match and vibe with the rest of our house. So that's what we're gonna do here. We did take off our mirror. It's a frameless mirror, and I'm gonna show you how we update that a little bit further in the video. So once everything's off the walls and things, Austin was gracious enough to grab a roller and start rolling while I cut in everything. I thankfully am good enough to not need to have to tape everything, have a pretty steady hand, and I found a brush that I really like that works for me. So cutting in doesn't take near as long as it used to for me, because I did used to tape off every little crevice and corner. So if you need to do that, no problem. Just make sure you prep properly, because if you don't have a steady hand or you don't feel comfortable doing it, you'll just cost yourself more work on the back end on having to fix any, you know, overlaps or places you've touched that wasn't supposed to be. So we ended up doing 2 coats of this color. It is beautiful. I honestly think we could have gotten away with 1 coat, but I don't know. I don't know. It was iffy. We wanted to just make sure everything was good. We weren't going to find any spots later. So we did do 2 coats on here, and then we're going to let those dry, and it's time to switch out all of our hardware. Now, Austin did replace the light in the bathroom, which all of our hardware, light fixtures, faucet, and all of that we purchased, we did purchase from Amazon. I'll link it in the description below if you're curious about any of these items. The light that we have, we bought the same one for each of our bathrooms. So the one for our half bath only has 2 lights. This one has 3, and our master has 4. So we've only been using the half bath one, and they've been working just fine. Now, they're not super bright lights. So I don't know if that's what you're looking for. Like if you're looking for very good, I don't know, they're LED lights, but they're not, I don't know, they don't just like illuminate the whole thing to where you have supernatural looking light, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But they definitely get the job done. I don't have any issues seeing in there. I don't feel like I'm struggling or frustrated because I can't see very well. I feel like they do really good. And then on top of that, our fan does have a light in it too, so that works out for that. But I just thought I'd throw it out there that like it isn't super illuminating, but they do a great job. They're not super bright in your face, and I really like that. Okay, sorry, I digress about the light fixtures. So after the light, Austin went ahead and hung all of our hardware. So the kit, we bought a kit, and it comes with 2 of each things I'm gonna list. So it comes with the ring, like towel holder, like hand towel holder. It comes with a bar towel holder, a little like hook one where you would just like drape your towel up, and a toilet paper holder. So it comes with all of those times 2. We went ahead and got that kit because we will be using the same hardware in our master bath as well. From there, it was time to hang the shower curtain. We did get a nice curved one just to kind of open up that space inside the shower for, like I said, if we do have guests. So we got that hung up in these really cool shower hooks that I got off of Amazon. I've tried many different shower hooks before, and I really like these. I don't know that I would have ever had that much of an opinion before, but since using these, they glide really well. They stay balanced really well, so they're not like, the curtain doesn't like pop off or out, and they don't just flip off of the top of the rod, if that makes sense. So I really like these, and I think they were only like $8 for the pack. So I'm just gonna throw that out there. Again, everything's gonna be linked in the description below, but I really like these. And then the shower curtain that we're gonna be using actually came from Meijer. I don't know if you have that grocery store near you, but they have some really cute options. So got that all hung up, and then from there we needed to work on the mirror and the vanity. So we took our mirror outside, and what I'm going to do is paint a frame onto here. So it's got like these rusty, torn up spots from the back that just really look really bad and icky on the edges. And I wanted to take that away and just really, I don't know if glam it up a bit is the words to use, but just give it a little bit of detail and make it pop off the wall so that's not just so eh. So what I'm going to do is take some painter's tape. Now I have a thin roll and the big roll. You can decide how big you want your frame to be on this. I'm going to choose a thinner frame because I want it to kind of match the lights that we have in there. If you can tell, there's like a black thin square around it, and I think those will play off of each other really nicely. So I'm going to take that thin tape and I'm going to tape all the way around the frame, making sure it's nice and even and straight all along the edges. So I'm just going to use the edge of the mirror to kind of be my guide. And then from there, I'm going to take the thicker painter's tape and some, I think I'm just using some leftover freezer paper that I've had from, I was using them using it in my craft room forever ago, and I've just had it sitting here. So you can use that, some crepe paper, newspaper, old magazines, whatever you need to cover the face of the mirror, especially if you're spray painting it, because that spray paint will go everywhere. It gets into little crevices and it will go further than you think, and I don't want you to ruin your mirror. So make sure you cover the face of it with something. And then I'm just using that thicker tape to tape all of that down, and I'm just butting it up next to that thin piece. So I'm making sure it's not overlapped, but I'm making sure it's nice and straight and directly touching that other piece of tape, because that's how I'm going to know that my frame is going to come out crisp and clean. So once I have the paper down and that next row of tape put, I am going to tape down any slits in that paper that there might be so no paint can sneak up underneath it. And then I'm going to remove that thin outer ring of tape because that's the area that I want to paint. I am just using some Rustoleum 2X, and I think it's a flat. I'm trying to think back. You'll see in the video, but I'm just going to paint that up. So I think we ended up doing 3 coats of it just to make sure everything had really good, nice coverage, and yeah, make sure it's nice and even and looking really good. Once it was dry, I peeled that tape back and removed all of that paper, and it looks really good. I'm really, really happy with how simple a flip this is and how good it looks. So for the little hangers that are on the wall, they don't come down, so I just took a brush and I painted those black, and then we slid our mirror back in. I really, really love it. I'm very happy with how the mirror turned out for such a quick and easy solution. So that's just my suggestion to you. Now, when I've cleaned it several times since we've painted it, I just avoid that outer edge. So I just spray whatever cleaner you're going to use in the middle, and then I clean and wipe, and I go right up close to the edge, but I try not to overlap it too much. That way I don't accidentally scrub too hard and scrub it off. I don't know that it'll come off very easily, but I also don't want to test it. So yeah, from there, we just need to do the vanity. Now, I will say the elephant in the room are these manila, like cream colored bathtub and vanity top. I've contemplated painting them so many times. I just can't get myself to do it. For some reason, it's very intimidating to me. I feel like I've taken on a lot of projects and usually don't feel this like immense intimidation, but I think it's because this is my daughter's bathroom, and if I screw it up, like, she has to lay in the bathtub and like be there with it. And if it's like chipping off and everything, it stresses me out. So we've thought about painting them white, but I think we'll just hold off for now and leave it as is, and we can deal with it until maybe we can do a bathroom like renovation in the future, which is something that we have talked about. So I know it doesn't really match and it's kind of an eyesore, but it is what it is. That's what we can do for right now, and that's okay. Also, the floors are like this brown linoleum like colored situation. Don't love that either. However, those probably will be getting changed within the next year. We just can't decide on what flooring we want or when we want to tackle that, because we do want to do all 3 of the bathrooms at the same time with the same flooring. So moving on to the vanity. I'm going to be using a Rustoleum cabinet kit on this. The reason I'm choosing to do this is because I have used their kits before and they've lasted a very long time. In my first home that I bought, I redid the entire kitchen and bathroom vanities there, and that was probably 7 years ago. And within the last year, I don't live there anymore. I do know the person who still does. They said that it's just now starting to have some, like under the handles where like fingernails and things can catch, starting to have some scraping and stuff there, but everything else is in really good shape. So I just want to stick to what I know and what I know will last. So I went and picked up a kit. They do have a light, a medium, and a dark like tint. I chose the dark tint, and then I chose black. So there's certain colors that you can choose within the light or the dark or whatever. So I chose black because I want to, again, kind of keep everything matching here. And they provide everything that you need and walk you through what you need to do. So they provided some crud cutter, which is going to clean and degrease and get all of the gunk off of the vanity. And then it's up to you if you want to sand your vanity or not, but I did go ahead and hit it with a light sanding, because the last thing that you want to do is leave any type of glossy finish on there to where it won't like adhere. So the bond paint that's in there is what that will actually be the tint color. So that's what you're going to use, and you just want to make sure that that sticks. Now they have instructions in there on how to test an area to see if it's doing what it's supposed to. Whether you want to do that or not, that's up to you. So I'm just going to walk you through what I did. So I cleaned it really good with the crud cutter. And then I wiped it all down with really like warm water, make sure there was none of that left on there. And then after that, I went through and I gave it a really good sanding. And then I wiped it through again with a clean rag so that I could get all the dust off. And I then took out all of the drawers and the doors off, and I marked which one went where. I don't know if it's that important here, but in the, if I was in the past when I did like my big kitchen where I had so many doors, I wanted to know which ones went where so I knew that they would go back and not have any wonky weird things to where they wouldn't line up. So I just did that with some tape. I wrote on what was what and made sure I laid them down in order. So if I took off the far left side, I went and put it on the table with my sticker that said far left side. That way everything matched up. So I'm going to remove all of the hardware from this, including the hinges, and I'm going to clean those up and set those aside because I am going to be spray painting those with that same 2X Rustoleum in flat black. That way everything matches. We're doing a black on black here. If that's not your style, that's fine. Not your house. So we want that. We want all of our hardware to match. All of our doorknobs are being replaced, including the hinges and doors. I'm just not, you're going to see here, I'm not finishing the doors right now. We have taken all of the doors off in our house. And for this makeover, we took the doors off the bathroom. We're going to put them back up for now, but once it finally gets warm and stays warm outside, I'm going to get a sprayer and I'm going to spray all of the doors at one time so that I don't have to do it over and over and over again because I am dreading doing it. That's Madonna. So I'm dreading doing it. So we're going to knock them all out at once and then rehang them. And at that point, we're going to get fresh black hinges to match the hardware that we have put on there as well. So back to the vanity. Sorry, I keep getting sidetracked. I got them cleaned up, I got them sanded, I got them wiped down, and now it's time to start painting. So you're going to mix up that bonding tint coat really good, and then you're going to start painting it on there. Now, for cabinet doors, what works best for me is to do, okay, how do I explain this? You have the long pieces that go down vertical, and then you have the shorter pieces horizontal. If you paint those short ones horizontal first, then when you go and do your vertical pieces, you can wipe off any like directional lines that kind of go over because you want to paint with the grain of the wood. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to make sure I'm painting the inside, in the right directions with the grain of the wood, and just make sure you're not getting any excess or any drips. And then what I did do is take some wood pieces and put them under the door so that they're kind of uplifted, so I can paint the sides and everything without fighting like getting it on the table or worried about them getting painted and stuck to the table. And those wood pieces were kind of leaving little chippies, so I put wax paper over top of it. That way I knew it wouldn't stick. Wax paper? Parchment paper, sorry. That way I knew the doors wouldn't stick to it and wouldn't have anything weird happening. So I went through and I coated everything twice. I did tape off the drawers and the cabinets and on the areas where I didn't want any paint to get on there. And again, I did 2 coats for that. Once that was done, I stirred and mixed up and did the top coat. Now this is very runny and it can pull easily. So you want to paint it on more of a thin layer. It'd be better to do 2 layers if you don't feel like your coverage was good than to do a thick layer. Because if you do it too thick or you have any puddles, instead of drying clear, it will keep that milky color and you'll be able to see it really well. So you want to make sure you do nice, thin, even coats, and you don't want to like overwork it. So if you do 1 brush stroke, maybe go back 1 more time to make sure it's smooth, but then leave it. You don't want to keep going back over it. You'll feel it start to get tacky, and if it gets tacky and you do that too much, you'll see that texture after it dries. So like I said, just be careful, watch for any drips, make sure you're wiping the edges to make sure that there's no drips that you can't see maybe underneath. And what I like to do is start with painting the back of my doors with the bond coat and the top coat so that I can kind of get a feel for the thickness or thinness of the paint that I'm using, but also just kind of my brush strokes and everything just to get a feel for it, to make sure that if I'm making any mistakes, it'll be on the back side first. And then once you flip it over to do the front, you're kind of more familiar and more comfortable with it. That's what works for me. So that's what I did. Like I said, I also spray painted all the hardware, and then we put it all back together. I think it took me, it would have been like the total like 8 hours maybe. I did it over 2 days because before I put the top coat on, I just wanted that paint to sit and be good before I did the top coat. So I just let it sit overnight to make sure it's nice and dry and good to go. Did the top coat, let that dry for several hours, put the hardware back on, and then assembled the bathroom back. I also picked up some of those little like gel pads to put back on the back side of the drawers and the cabinets, because I scraped all of that off before when I was sanding everything down. So I want to put those back on, that way they're not slamming and causing any possible chipping or weird spots. That way they close really nice and soft and kind of complete the look. The other thing I did was I taped off the logo. You don't have to, you can paint that if you want to, but I feel like if you tape it off and keep it original, it looks like it came original. It makes it look a little more authentic. So that's also just a personal preference of mine. But I love how this turned out. It was, I think, like $78 for this kit. To me, that was worth it to not have to replace an entire vanity. The wood on there, some people will be upset that I painted it, but it was in pretty bad condition, and these were original to the home. It's a 1980s home. So I think it was time for an update, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I think it really brought everything together for this bathroom. Then Austin replaced the faucet, which made a huge difference. We threw some blinds up in the window, and we were good to go. I will show you in my bathroom closet. I have a separate video for this, I'll link it in the description, where I covered up the wire shelves by using some foam board and contact paper. That way I could just update it a little bit and make it look not so cheap, but also keeping it cheap. So it was just a little hack that I did as well. So if you're interested in that, I'll put that in the description below. But this bathroom is done for now. Like I said, we'll probably do the floor. The doors will be getting done at the same time as all the other doors in the house. And maybe eventually we'll paint that tub and that sink. But I really don't know that that's something I want to undertake right now. So please let me know what you guys think about this makeover in the comments below, and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this content. If you think we did a good job on this makeover. It was a lot of work, but I'm so happy that it's finally done. Now we have to still tackle our master bathroom because we're sharing this bathroom all together, but it's working for now. It's fine. I'm going to take you guys in for a closer look, and I'll see you next time.